Okay, so my real intent for making the review video was to show you how to change your paper to something besides standard white. So let me show you something. So on here, when I go to my layer properties, right, click on layer properties, you'll notice that 0 is set to white, right? Okay, so I messed up like I told you the other day. I'm going to see if I can move that, turn it off. So when I go over here, right, and I go on layer, now it still shows white. Okay. What if I right click and go to options? Now it doesn't matter where I right click anywhere on the layout, but if I right click over here on the layout and go to options, and then you'll notice you have a whole bunch of tabs. It's okay, display is a good one to be on. So we're going to be on display, which is the second one over. And we're going to click on this thing called colors right here. Now you'll notice where it says sheet layout, uniform background, then I have mine set to black. The default is white, right? So white piece of paper, if I clicked on that, I can put it back to the default, and there's my white piece of paper. I don't really want a white piece of paper because things don't show up well. But let me show you something. Remember that picture I told you about? Let's see what happens when I do this. Oh, would you look at that? It says white. Oh, look, it says white right there, but it's black. So what happens? Since I gave you a picture of that, everybody makes layer 0 black. I don't have a problem with that color. It's just the fact that it won't work. See, AutoCAD automatically changes it to, on a white background or a lighter background, it'll change it to black automatically. Anyway, moving along. So you're like, why are you showing this? Well, so if you start out with this and you want a different color, you right click, go to options, display, colors, and then you change sheet layout will be where you're at, uniform background, white. Okay, well, what if I wanted it to be blue? Okay, let's see what blue looks like. Oh, wow, that's really bright. So then, you know, we could do magenta and be blind. You know, I could pick something else. Or I could just pick black and be done with it. And there we go. Now, notice that it changed the white back to white, which is cool. And it matches up with my model space, like so. So if you want your paper to be the same color as model space, that's how you do it. Right click, go to the options, doesn't matter where on the screen, and then click on, make sure it's on display, then click colors. And then you can change this to a black color and you're good to go. Now, let's see. All right, so something else that you can also do if you wanted to. So the default for AutoCAD on right clicking, I go back and forth. So when I first started out, what I wanted to do with my right click is I wanted that to be enter all the time. So if I were to go over to where it says user preferences and click on right click customization, what I have set up right now is if no objects are selected, right click gives me a shortcut menu. That's a default. Well, I used to have it just be repeat the last command. In other words, it does enter. Well, I kind of figured out that having that shortcut menu is actually kind of handy. So I'll leave it on that. Now, the next one down, it says when you're in edit mode. In other words, while you're, let's see, if one or more objects are selected. In other words, you're not in a command, but you pick something and it has grips, right? The little blue things show up. And then when you pick on them, they turn red. Those are grips. You can modify things that way. You can move it, you can scale it, whatever. If you pick something on the screen and you right click, what you want to happen is, I want it to do the shortcut menu, because then that gives me options to do different things. Well, that's pretty smart. I like that. So I left that one that way. That's the default. So then on the bottom one, it says in command mode. In other words, when you're inside of a command, inside line, inside move, inside, well, yeah, mostly it would be like your editing commands like move or copy or mirror, scale, those kinds, okay? Then if I right click, the default is shortcut menu. So then if I wanted to if I wanted it to be enter, then I'd have to, the menu pops up and then I have to click on the word enter on there. Whereas it's a whole lot easier, just hit space bar or the enter key, right? So if I want right click to be enter while I'm in a command, which is what I want, then I'm going to change this to enter. So while I'm in a command, like move or copy or whatever, I can use my right button on the mouse to act like enter. So that's why I said you can right click for enter. Well, it depends on where you're at on what it'll do. If there's nothing selected, then right click's going to give me the shortcut menu. That's how I have it set up, where you can pick the last few commands that are common commands or the last commands that you're working on, and you could do that or properties or whatever. Then if you pick something without being in a command, that's called edit mode, then I have mine set to do shortcut menu so that I can do stuff with those objects. Possibly it gives me options. But I do really want to have, when I'm in command mode, which is while you're inside the command, I want it to be enter, which is kind of handy. And apparently my memory, you know, what do you call it, muscle memory, from doing enter with my right button, I'm kind of out of touch on that. So anyway, so I'm at mine set to enter, and I'm going to hit apply close, and I'm going to hit OK, because that's all I really wanted to show you. So thanks for reminding me, Kyle. Appreciate it. Any other questions on that stuff? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to close down this video, so I'll have that little short video, and I'll post it on YouTube here today sometime, and I'll upload that one to another class, and probably stick it on this class too. All right. So there we go. Okie dokie.